If your body had a check engine light, would you ignore it? Hello, good to see you again. I am Spencer. I am a board certified health and wellness coach for men, and I am a experienced registered yoga instructor. That means I'm really fond of patchouli and getting really flexible. All right. Anyway, so now that all those credentials are out of the way, I want to talk about something here that most men don't really talk about, because this is something that we are told to just tough out. We're told to just put it out to the side, ignore it. This is what's happening right now, is that men are ignoring the warning signs. They pawn it off as getting older, but these are the warning signs of fatigue, stubborn belly fat, lousy sleep, and brain fog. Now, again, we're thinking like this is just something that happens when we're getting older, but really what these are like warning lights that you see on your dashboard of your car. And if you were driving your truck down the road or your car down the road and all these warning lights came on, what would happen? Would you keep driving? Hell no. You'd pull over and fix. You got to do something. But the thing is that a lot of guys were just taught to just ignore those. And it's only a matter of time before the engine seizes. So I'm going to go into what the hell metabolic health really is, why it's important, and how you can improve that quite simply by going over these 4 pillars. And I'm going to share that with you. So getting into it. So just starting. The name of the pod today, why most men are driving with the body's check engine light on. And we are going to go deeper into what metabolic health explained. When I first saw this on my dashboard of my car, I was like, what the hell is that? I just was so curious, but this is a check engine light. I found that on Canva. So what we're going to cover here today is we are going to cover just a very simple, clear definition of metabolic health that anyone can understand. It kind of came to my attention from Adele is like, she's like, I don't know if anyone understands what metabolic health is. So could you explain it as if I was a 5th grader? She's South African, and that's the best way that's my best impression of her. Anyway, we're also going to go into the real cost of ignoring it, talking about the dollars, talking about your energy and your overall freedom. We're going to go through the 4 pillars that are going to fix it. We're going to talk about movement, nutrition, sleep, and stress relief. That's a big one. And then at the end of the video, I need you to see, I'm going to provide you a very clear next step on what you can do. It's going to be fun. So we're going to talk about your body's dashboard. Your body is your car. It gets you through life. It gets you from point A to point B, and everything to do with C and every other bit of letter of the alphabet. Right. So we're taking a look at this here. The traction control is off. The brake might be on. The battery might be dying. Check engine lights on. You might be out of fuel. There's a lot of similarities here. What's happening with our body is being a car here, and we are just ignoring these warning signs. So getting into the body's dashboard. Let's see. Boink. So let's just talk about what the metabolism really is. The metabolism is your engine. That's really what it is. Your metabolism is the engine that drives you. It's the mitochondria in your cells. That's what gives you the energy to get through your life, to grow nails, to create blood in your body, to create muscle, to create your life. And that engine is your metabolism. So fuel, let's look at the fuel. We need fuel for your car. That is the food that you're going to eat. And that's the food is going to be transferred into energy to fuel your energy, right? And then we're going to talk about the sensors. Every car these days, they all have sensors now. These are the things that you're actually picking up and the things you can feel. You're going to pay attention to hunger. That's a sensor. Your sleep, your energy, if that's up or down, and especially your mood, right? We guys can be in a mood, if we're hangry or which is understanding your hunger. If we're in a mood, if our favorite football team like just lost the Super Bowl because your coach chokes in the fourth quarter, Kyle Shanahan. Anyway, no big deal. All right. And then finally, we're going to talk about dashboard lights and looking at what that looks like what's visible, what you can see. You're going to see belly fat coming up on you. You're going to feel fatigue, the brain fog where you can't really focus. And then your labs just don't look that good too when you have your blood work done. Okay. And my wake up call, and many of you who are following me, you've saw this picture before, but man, alive, it wasn't just my body that I took this picture. I was honestly so sick and tired of feeling like shit. I had no energy, and this look on my face, that's what really woke me up. Besides the belly, I've had a belly before, but this look is like this dead look, like I was ready to give up. I had suicidal ideations, just walking around. I had like no energy at 2 p.m. I'd go out for a walk. I felt I could take a nap on the sidewalk. It was not good. It was not good for me. I'm going to work on stop saying so much, but this was something that I took a look at, and I said, I have to do something. And I watched something the other day about, how powerful our anti-vision is. Taking a look, it's one thing to really craft a vision of what you want to become, right? Like I want to be fit. I want to be healthy. I want a six pack. I want to have lots of money. I want to live by the ocean. Those are well and good, but what's really going to drive the action is really embracing the flip side of that, what you don't want to be. That really moves us, right? It's the same reason why we study hardcore right before the night before the test, because we don't want to fail. It's not that we want to succeed. It's like, shit, man, if I can just get a C, I'll be good. So understanding that it's important to know what you don't want. And what really moved me here is like, I do not want to look like this. I do not want to feel like this, because if it keeps going, it's not good. I probably wouldn't be here. So, when we work together, we'll talk more about like embracing that anti-vision. I think that's powerful to propel you forward. But going deeper into it again, I had low energy. I didn't really pay attention when I was eating. I had the fat, and I had just resigned to the fact that I'm going to be like this forever, a lot of times. And I just given up. I just quit, man. My sleep was poor. But what was poor about my sleep is I never went to the bed at the same time. I would stay up watching content or watching a movie, or, even sleeping on the couch and not getting my ass up and just going to my bed. And so that led to me sleeping in, hitting the snooze, and it was just poor, man. I had my blood work done. Everything, I had that done. Test was super low. I had my A1C was high, even though I felt, oh Christ, I'm weird saying this. Like I felt that I was healthy as a vegan, but I was one of those junk food, not quite junk food vegans, but I was processed food vegan for sure. Like those field roasts packaged like gluten dogs I would eat. Vegan pizza, like the vegan chicken nuggets. I'll get into that a little bit later, but that's what had my blood sugars creeping up. I just thought everything was okay. I was running on autopilot, thinking everything was fine. You know how that goes, right? You just live day to day. And then, I don't know, something happens where you catch yourself in the mirror and it's like, damn, dude, what's up? So I was just running on bad fuel. I was ignoring all the signs. And that's why I want to make this video, because the signs are something. They mean something. So let's just get into it. Like, what the hell is metabolic health? What does that mean, right? So we're going to get into the healthy side of things. And I want to take a look at this engine. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Look at this. Got dual carbs over here. And I don't know why I'm Italian all of a sudden. We got the nitrous oxide, so you can go real fast. Maybe that's more of my Vin Diesel voice. Oh man, I'm going to quit. I'm going to chuck that away. Anyway, clean engine. Everything looks good. Everything's operational. And why not think of yourself as like a hot rod engine? Why not, huh? That's the health. So, healthy metabolism is equal to you have steady energy. You're not on medication, right? You're just living your life like it used to be. Right? So steady energy, no meds. You're waking up with good energy, enough energy to get through the day, no crashes. So what ideal is you're looking at your blood sugar is probably around 95 or probably around 90 milligrams a deciliter. Blood pressure is probably under 130 over 80, somewhere in there. We'll get into that a little bit more. You have lower triglycerides, which is the fat in your blood. Your HDL, which is your good cholesterol, that's low. Your waist size, and depending on who it is, I think for me, it was like when I first started feeling better is when I was to a 34 waist. I was as high as a tight 38. I made myself fit in a 38 for a long time. And then American Heart Association definition says, hey, no medication is needed. Nothing's required. So that by those standards, like you're not sick, they call it healthy. But as a health coach, we see this health continuum. Western medicine, like say there's a continuum here where there's neutral, and imagine a timeline. And to the far left of the timeline is like you're in debt, like you're in bad health. And what the medical system does is gets you to the middle. And then that would be a success. With a health continuum, you're back all the way to the left and you get to the middle, and then you move positively towards the right. So that's the true health continuum. And what we want to do is we want to take your health from where it is now, if it's below neutral, let's just say, get you to baseline, and then continue on forward into immaculate health. Lots of energy, low fat. You're looking good. You have you can live out your life's purpose, which has a lot to do with your well-being, and that has everything to do with your health too. So, getting into the red here, this should scare you when you see all of these lights flashing up on your driver's dashboard. And I want to speak this way to you guys too, because man, I don't know about you, but I freak out when I see stuff pop up on my dashboard, and I'm like, I gotta fix it. So I'm going to go into the stats of what should kind of bug you, because you gotta understand here that 1 in 3 adults have metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is not just one disease. It's a cluster of different diseases, of 3 or more. And I'll get into that in just a little bit, but if you have 3 of these markers here, then you are in metabolic syndrome. So your waist size is over 40 inches. Your triglycerides, if you've had those measured, they're equal to or over 150. Your good cholesterol is less than 40. Your blood pressure is greater than or equal to 130 over 85. And then your glucose is up over 100. I had no idea that where my glucose was until earlier this year, at the beginning of this past year, when I finally learned about blood sugar and how that's effective in achieving metabolic health. But if you have 3 of those, that means you are in metabolic syndrome. Good chance. And why it's deadly and why your car could be on fire if you ignore these things is beyond the big 3, which is heart disease, stroke, diabetes. You also are having things like kidney disease show up, fatty liver, cancers, dementia, Parkinson's. The type 3 diabetes is what they're calling it. It's probably one of the most feared diseases that anyone can go through, is when you begin to lose your mind. Drops in hormones. You're seeing a low T, high estrogen. So you're feeling weak and you're crying at even TV commercials, let's just say. Sleep apnea. If you like looking like Darth Vader and sounding like him at night. Good night, honey. Night. And you have things like chronic inflammation, which lead to pain. I've dealt with worked in pain neuroscience as well. Back pain's a real thing. Pain in your shoulders, pain in your knees, hips, due to chronic inflammation and immobility. That's a pod for another time. So There is a price tag for staying sick. This is, I think everyone knows this. It's just, I want to bring it up for us to deal with because medical bills suck in this country. This is a for-profit sick care system and it makes money on people being sick. And it would rather bankrupt people and put them in the street rather than really care for them and give them the medicine that they need. And so it's up to us to make something happen. But if you want to not have to pay medical bills for the rest of your life and get off the goddamn meds, then let's pay attention here. Stick with me here because here are the statistics they came in. $400 a month for just diabetes management. And that's with insurance. $280 a month for meds and supplies. Your basic meds. I mean, perhaps like it's your metformin, your blood pressure meds. These are all numbers that I checked out and looked up on PubMed, recent PubMed article. And then now we're starting to get into the GLPs, like Ozempic. That's the big one. Wegovy, I think I might be saying that wrong. If you're a subscriber to Hims, it's available on Hims. Their GLPs are coming out everywhere, and it's not cheap. Again, the averages are around anywhere from $900 to over $1,300 per month. And yeah, you might be losing weight, but it's also making you sick and it's withering you away. Studies have shown that not only is your muscle going away, but also your bone density. So it makes you prone to getting weaker and prone to falling and then breaking some shit. So that sucks. And then the extra healthcare spend alone with metabolic syndrome is an additional $2,200 a year on average on top of what you're already paying. And then times that by how many years you're going to be doing that. Yeah. And it's not like the price tag's going to stay the same, right? It's always going to increase. So think about the money that could buy. What is an additional, like the estimate is around $4,800 a year of just the diabetes management. What could that money buy you? Just think about it for a second. You know, there's some cheap flights. You can get to a family vacation. You can enjoy Mexico. You can enjoy some cheap flight to Japan, perhaps. You know, you can put a down payment on a bike, let's say, put it on a Harley, or you can go on an adventure. Just go anywhere anywhere in the world and just take a month or two off to really build your dream life and what you want to do. What would you do with that money that you're giving to to big pharma and to the medical system? And over $4,800 a year minimum, compound that over 5-10 years, that's a chunk of change. So think about that. I've thought about it. So the system is in place, and this is a very insidious type of system that keeps us sick and it keeps us stuck and it keeps us reliant on this sick care system that we have in the United States. This is a for-profit food system. That means it makes food that addicts you. Have you read Salt, Sugar, Fat? That is, it's a pretty eye-opening book where scientists have been working for years, decades, of finding the bliss point in food, the perfect amount of salt and sugar and fat from the mouthfeel and everything. And you find the actual bliss point to where things taste so good you can't ignore them. Sodas, you got the refined grains and the chocolate and the fatty fried foods. And then another thing we got going on here too, we have couches, right? Couches and remote controls and Netflix, and we have this endless scrolling, the TikTokification of our lives, the boredom killing machines, and those are the smartphones, and they're all glued to us, right? It's 5:25, by the way, and it's difficult. It's a system it's like quicksand, And the more it pulls you in, the weaker you get, and you can't pull out of it. It's like being caught in a whirlpool and you can't pull out of it. And you need someone to like be on the ground and like hand you a stick to hold on to pull you out of that sucker. So let's get into this a little bit more. Again, it's a for-profit food system that feeds directly into a food and into a sick care for-profit medical system. So again, for-profit food system addicts you to the food. You can't stop eating it. It shoots up your ghrelin, your hunger hormones. It's like, I'm still hungry. Keep eating, keep eating. Nothing but starches and food that's just poor in nutrition. And if you're watching this vid right now, you understand. The sedentary life, it's the desk and it's the scrolling. The desk, I can't tell you enough how much because I'm creating a lot of my own content. I'm working with people, I'm busy working as an entrepreneur and I'm sitting in this desk. I have to move my body every now and again. I get a reminder with my Oura Ring or on my Apple Watch, get up and move. And I got to move, even if it's like 30 seconds and doing some twists, doing some tapping. That's really good to move blood and lymph throughout the body. That's something I got to do to kind of move around. And I feel a little energy there. But that sedentary life, if we get stuck in it, that's the system that's keeping us sick. And there was a big predictor of back pain, hip pain, knee pain, shoulder pain, even elbow pain from using the mouse. That has happened many times. And it's getting worse. There's an overwork culture as well that just keeps us completely stressed and tied to that job. And a lot of times we're tied to that job just so we can have medical coverage, right? So it's the sick care medicine that you're going to be getting. So everything feeds into each other, and that's what sucks about it is that the whole system, the game's rigged for profit. I don't know about you, but I was tired of getting used. The best form of civil disobedience is to educate yourself, find those people that'll help you, follow them, and follow your bliss towards a life that you want to live. And the first thing you got to do is you got to get your health right before you can find your purpose and your meaning. Getting your health right, you might find your purpose and your meaning in doing that. But again, we got to understand that we are all dying a death of 1,000 micro decisions, or like what we often hear about, death by 1,000,000 paper cuts. And I have a picture of this guy here just, ordering DoorDash on his phone. If we get in that habit, that's a micro decision that leads to a big detrimental issue. Just a few ideas here. Like it's that you walk by the break room and you see that one pink donut with the sprinkles. I'm telling you from my own personal experience, the donut in the break room, the single donut in the break room, which signifies scarcity. If there are a whole bunch of donuts, you're like, I'll come back later and get one. But if you saw a single donut, I'm going to have to get that donut, right? Micro decision. And Netflix binge at midnight. And I've been there. Better Call Saul was on, and I'll have to figure out what's going on that entire season. I got to go until I basically end up dying. I got to have that binge. I've been there before. But just to let you know, they always end on a cliffhanger. Everything does to keep you continually watching, right? It's the scroll that eats your walk. It's the scroll that eats your stroll. I think that'd be a better way to put it. Again, I've done that before to where I've been on a break when I was at my old corporate job, and I would just scroll the phone for a little bit, and I'll go for a walk here in just a minute. And that minute turned into 20 minutes, and then I missed my break. The meeting that steals your lunch, when we think that we have to say yes to everything all the time. Okay, that's another thing too. Those are little micro decisions that add up that contribute to poor metabolic health. So let's talk about solutions and talk about these 4 pillars. These are the basics. If you follow these 4 pillars, you will have better metabolic health. You will have better energy. You will have more muscle. You'll have less fat for life. You will live longer. And in those years that you live longer, you'll have more life in those years. So it's real simple. Movement, nutrition, sleep, and stress relief. And I've been good on maybe a couple of these, but when we follow all of these, and that's not necessarily in order, but I feel like, nutrition probably would be number one, then movement, sleep, and then stress relief. But those are the 4 pillars right there. And we're going to get into them. Number 1, let's just talk about movement. And this is a picture here, just Adele and I moving out on the trail in the foothills of Boise. It's just walking and walking up hills. That's one of my favorite go-tos. The wheels, let's go back to that car, right? The wheels keep turning. They got to keep the wheels moving around, burning the fuel. It cleans out the exhaust. The car is doing its job. And so it needs to be able to move because rest is rust. And that looks like 8 to 12,000 steps a day. The strength training at our age, guys, at midlife, moving on at least 3 to 4 times per week. If you can get 2, that's fine. But I just put 3 to 4. That's what I feel in my bones is helpful. And that's what I do is I'm at 4 times a week. And my mobility and stretching, that's absolute non-negotiable. It has to be, I'm upwards of 5 times a week, sometimes more. But it doesn't have to be for very much. So I really lean on my yoga practice for that. If when we work together, you're going to get customized mobility programs as well, because it's just an absolute staple to not just work your muscles and your joints, but the movement of blood and lymph throughout your body. And it comes with stress relief. It's like the perfect exercise that you can do for the rest of your life. And it's completely mobile. But mobility, stretching 3 to 5 days a week, and that's going to keep chronic pain. It's going to keep it out of your body. And you just got to stay consistent at it. So quick self-check. What were your steps yesterday? How many steps did you get in? Leave them in the comments. How many steps are you averaging a day? Right? The second pillar, nutrition. And here's lovely meats and cheeses and avocados and some eggs and everything. Like, that's the fuel, baby, right? That's the fuel we need. That's what we need in our car. And again, if you're feeding it with, if your car runs on, unleaded and you're feeding it regular gasoline from the 70s, it's going to be some shit that piles up over time. It's not going to run very well. Or perhaps you're using a bottle of whiskey inside of it instead. Anyway, so the fuel quality is equal to your performance. Boom. Oh my God, my mind just exploded. Right? We got to stay mindful of eating clean. Got to stay mindful of looking at the food and the ingredients. The ingredients should be the food themselves, pretty much. You turn over the eggs and they say eggs, ingredients. Oh, God, well, that makes sense. All right. So if you turn over eggs and you're seeing like 15 ingredients that you can't even, there's all kinds of, they're all consonants and there's numbers and you don't understand what it says, that's an issue. What I often tell people is, like, when you walk into the grocery store, you want to find the quality fuel. It's the way foods and grocery stores are designed. The food that's good for you is around the edges of the store. This is where you're going to find the vegetables and the fresh fruits, and you're going to find the meat section and the eggs and, and the goat's milk and the cheeses and things like that, things that are fresh. And then when you get in those middle aisles, those are the more shelf-stable things, the things that are in boxes and in packages, the high sugar, the highly palatable foods that are uniquely designed to addict you. So keeping it on the outside of the store is a great way to just ensure that you're getting clean fuel, man. And in this order, let's talk about nutrients. Protein, number 1. Proteose, it's of vital importance. Fiber, good for your gut, gets things moving around, which is important. Healthy fats, again, no omega-6s. Look for those omega-3s and monounsaturated, polyunsaturated fats. This the healthy fats. And then those are more important than the sugar bombs. This is more important than the sugar-laced food or the quick protein bars that have a ton of sugar in them. You got to look at the ingredients. If the first ingredient is maybe the granola, the second ingredient is probably cane sugar, and then honey, and then molasses, It doesn't matter if if the sugar is organic or not. It's still sugar. So protein, fiber, healthy fats, and then there are way to. We can talk more about carbohydrates and the good sources there, but that's good nutrition. The self check here. Let's just talk to you here. I want to talk to you for a second, okay? Now, how many meals did you have this week that were in a box or a drive-through? Did you have anything in a package that was pre-made and you just threw in the microwave? Let me know in the description. What did you have? I always love peeping in what people eat too. You ever watch those videos of like, what's in my fridge? Yeah, welcome to here. This is me, Arnold. I'm here, and here's my fridge here in Sun Valley. I'm eating more fruit and more salad. Look in my fridge. All right, enough of that shit. Okay, now the third pillar. Let's talk about sleep. And here's a guy. He just sleeping right into the pit crew here because I want to combine sleep and understanding what that's like. Again, sticking with the car analogies here, guys. It's like a pit stop, right? You need to run, the body's cleaning itself. It's running its diagnostic checks. You're cleaning fluids throughout the body, the brain. You got to have your sleep, and that's where you recover. That's where the muscle gains come, and you're losing the fat, and your body can do its thing. Got to have the sleep. It's absolutely needed for us to continue on with our life. Sorry, I have a shitload of dogs out there getting in a fight, probably with my dog because he's on a walk right now. But poor sleep is equal to getting an insulin resistance. So that insulin inside of our body its job is to help take sugar by the arm like a date and then knock on the cell door and then say, hey, I have some sugar for you. Want a little sugar? Cell's like, sure, come on in. But the thing is, if you're eating so much sugar, that takes a whole lot of insulin, and the insulin's always taking all this sugar to the door, and I say, hey, more sugar. It's like, hey, cells are like, we're done. Go away. Go to the liver. Take that shit away. All right? Dump it. Get rid of it. All right, I'll just take it to the liver. And the insulin dumps it off into the liver, and then it goes from the liver, and then it goes in around the heart and around all the organs, and then more and more, and then we get that visceral fat. So cortisol also too. That's a highly stressful thing. Even talking about that raised my cortisol. So a quick self-check. What was your sleep like last night? Did you get 7 to 8 hours? Less? Let me know in the comments below. And then the fourth pillar. Let's talk about stress relief. The stress we typically feel, it's like sometimes when we're stressed, I liken it to driving with the brakes on. And that can smell after a while. Whew. Yeah, smell those brakes. But stress relief, let's release the brakes. The chronic cortisol. As soon as you wake up, you got to have a natural cortisol spike. And then we throw down some coffee, and that's more cortisol on top of it. But this chronic cortisol is equal to the parking brake being on and you're trying to drive down the road. You got to release the brake. Right? Just a quick 4, 7, 8 breath. Just inhale for 4. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Whew. Quick 4, 7, 8 breath. A few rounds of that, you're going to feel relief immediately. Stress relief. It's important for blood sugar because when you're stressed, your blood sugar raises because it's getting you ready for fight or flight. It has to have that sugar in the bloodstream at the ready to run away, to fight or flee, right? The thing is if we're not moving, it's just going to store it as belly fat. It's going to store it as visceral fat around the organs. So, quick self-check. When's the last time you've downshifted, sat in silence, went out for a walk and just sat by the creek? What do you do for actual stress relief? I want to know what helps you de-stress. Help your brother out. Let us know. All right. I want you to know here too. This is all about opening up the road for you. You are a car and like a car, and you want to be able to run down the road to your life. You want to go down the road of life here too. And I just wanted to put this picture up here too, is like this, the sky's the limit. The road is wide open for you here at Midlife. Like we have this opportunity to reinvent ourselves. You know, midlife's really pretty incredible. It's like I've heard Chip Conley talk about this, is like we talk about the midlife crisis. He talks about it as a midlife chrysalis. It's like a moment of transformation for us. The first half of our life is like we're always accumulating things like accomplishments. We're trying to accumulate like our education, a partner, a house, the car, the children, the career. And then there comes this time that no one really tells us when, that things start dropping off. It's typically when the kids leave the house, right? Maybe you're tired of that job and you know this is not what you want to do. Things start dropping off. And a lot of times with it, if we're not careful, when those things drop off, we might have our identity tied into those things. And that's when it can get dangerous, especially if we have an identity with our career. And when that career goes away and you go into retirement, I mean, the stats show is like a lot of men, they die just shortly after retirement. So that it's really crucial to form an identity. But let's look at this midlife as it's not a breakdown. It's a wide open, it's an adventure for us. And to be healthy at midlife, that's exciting. There's so much more life to live, right? So it's not going to break down unless you ignore the lights. I'm here to just help you realize these lights, these symptoms, these sensors, they're telling you something for a reason, and to not ignore those. Don't just stuff it down because we're men and we're tough and I'm just getting old. It's a bunch of shit and I just put it away. That's going to come up. It's going to show up. You got to deal with it if you want. It's your choice. So you have to learn the dashboard. You got to fix the leaks. You got to plug the holes. You got to know how to change the flats. You know, you men are so good. Guys, you're so good at like taking care of your cars, taking care of your vehicles, taking care of stuff around the house. I mean, Home Depot wouldn't exist without us buying stuff and fixing stuff and welding things together and building lives for people. We do important work. I'm telling you, you have complete permission to turn your talents for fixing things towards yourself. And you can't do it alone. That's fine. That's where we work together. And we ride together. I ride shotgun with you. I often say, you're stuck right now. I help you get traction. I put that wedge under the tire, get you traction, and we get moving again. Then I ride shotgun with you. And we pick and choose and navigate our place, right? Where you want to go. It's important that you drive for decades with full power. So then when we inevitably hit our end, it's just a quick, hey, it's been fun. Rather than a slow 10-year decline where you get worse and worse and worse, and you watch everybody, your friends, your family, leaving you behind. What do you want? I mean, what do you want? I don't know about you, but I want to live the best I can. I need to take care of this body and do everything necessary so that I can live a purpose of service and choosing happiness and choosing clarity and calm and all of those things that improve my well-being and give me the reasons to live a healthy life. Yeah. So now I have a free masterclass. I'm glad you stayed here till the end because I'm going to go into deep detail and give you all the details on these 4 pillars and how to make them work for you in my masterclass. You're going to have stellar metabolic health. You're going to have all the tools necessary in order to live your life moving forward. It's absolutely free. You're going to learn to read your dashboard. I'm going to go into meal sequencing. I'm going to go into what exercises you can do and sleep tips and habits for stress relief. You're going to know exactly where to start, and we're going to get clear on what you want. Okay. And this is going to be happening Tuesday. It's coming up just a few days away. Tuesday the 12th, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. And if you're in Ireland or London, 6 p.m. Maybe Ireland and London share the same time zone. I'm not 100%. But put those down. Moving forward from here, I want a quick reminder to let you know, don't ignore the lights, my man. Don't ignore the sensors. You deserve it. Your family deserves you. You are significant. We need you operating at full speed because you have gifts to share. So let's get this health thing in order so then you can start living your life the way you want it to, doing the things you want to do. Hit the link in the description, save your seat to the free masterclass, and please don't forget to subscribe. I love having you here. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity and to have this platform to speak to you. So thank you so much for being here. You mean everything. You are significant. And I just want you to know that it is never too late to make your mark upon the world. Take care.